Welcome to the 2024 U.S. Olympic Trials Prediction Podcast. I'm Coleman Hodges and joined by David Clossy, and we are going event by event down the psych sheet of the 2024 U.S. Olympic Trials and telling you who we think is going to make the U.S. Olympic team. David, I'm so excited for this. I don't know about you,
Me
but
too. I've been looking forward to this for months.
I haven't even fully perused the psych sheet yet because I knew that we were going to do this. So let's go ahead and get started. Event 1, women's 100-meter butterfly. Top seed is Tori Husk, 55.68, only 4 100ths off of her own American record. You've got 4 women who are sub 57 on the psych sheet. That's Husk, Gretchen Walsh, Reagan Smith, and Claire Curzan. You've then got another 5 women who are under the 58-second barrier. To me, this one's kind of cut and dry. I think Husk and Walsh are the safe bets. Any thoughts, David? Who are you picking?
That's exactly what I have put down for my 1-2 as well. You know, Tori Husk seems like she's just on fire in this event right now. She's fast. That helps. And Gretchen Walsh, I mean, we saw what she did at NCAAs and in the 100 fly, and she's looked strong long course. I'd say the strongest contender is to upset that 1-2 number 3 seed Reagan Smith. But I don't really see her dropping in this event. You know, she's coming fresh off of altitude in that 56.2, which we've seen from last year. That's good for Reagan Smith, that she normally goes really fast coming right off of altitude, and she's not. And I don't think she's even if or what was that?
I don't see her actually. She might do a prelims of this swim, right? Maybe even a semi, but I don't think she's actually going to swim the final because I think the next day is the 100 back prelim and semi. So I don't think this is an event she's taking seriously. Yeah. I certainly don't think it's one that she would swim at Paris, even if she makes the team in it. Kind of like Amalia O'Callaghan in the 100 back situation. And then a couple, Claire Curzan is 56.6, but that her best time in this is from, I think, 2021. I think to me, Alex Shackle has the most potential just because she's the youngest in that upper echelon field. And she's been having a great couple of years in the long course pool. But yeah, I think Tori and Gretchen are.
And I imagine hearing this swimmer is the youngest is probably something we hear a lot from you, Coleman, throughout this breakdown of youth reign supreme at the Olympic trials. And I think that, like Claire Curzan right there, super solid swimmer, really good 100 flyer. Pretty good example of the fact that when we're projecting 1-2 finishes here, you got to draw the line somewhere, and that's going to cut out some swimmers that you might be a fan of, I might be a huge fan of, but just not seen in the cards for them, or they'll pleasantly surprise us at trials.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree. And you gotta make the line somewhere. So moving on, event number 2, women's 400 free. Katie Ledecky, top seed at 3:58. No other woman is under 4 minutes. We got Bella Sims, Leah Smith, Claire Weinstein, Paige Madden, Katie Grimes. I think that's where I would draw my line at women who have really legitimate shots at getting that second spot. I think it's safe to say Katie Ledecky is the favorite for number 1. Who do you have for number 2?
I have Claire Weinstein, just because I think that looking at her progression, she was 7th at nationals last year, but her PB is from the Westmont Pro Swim Series. So she clearly is improving in this event, and that's what's got her that's what's got her the 4th seed now. And just to kind of compare, because we know very fast 200 freestyler, when she went her seed time in Westmont, she was a 1:58.0 in the 200 free. That telegraphs to me she's got some room to grow, got some room to get up into that second spot.
I like that pick. And I think it's the logic is sound. So Bella Sims is your number 2 seed. I would love to see Bella do really well at this meet, but she's coming off of her freshman year at Florida. And I think I say this so many times. Freshman year, it's a big year of change, right? She's getting
Yes.
used to training at Florida. She's coming from the Sandpipers in Las Vegas, where she swam in high school. So I don't expect to see her going best times at this meet or even this season, just because I think she's adjusting. I think she's getting used to things. Um, Number 3 seed, Leah Smith, had an injury earlier this year. I think that just doesn't give me a good feeling about her. I think she had to miss a good chunk of training. I'm not exactly sure where she's at with that. So, like, again, to get a second spot to make the Olympic team, you have to be kind of on your game. I think Weinstein's a great pick. I think I'm going to go with Paige Madden though, who was second the 400 free in 2021. I think that she is having a great season under Bob Bowman. I'm not sure when I think she might have gone her seed time also this season. Don't quote me on that, but I think she's shown
I think she's been
solid
at least
times.
close, if not that.
Okay. So and I think she's been in that final before. She obviously knows what it takes. She seems like she's in a good spot. So I'm gonna go with the veteran on this one.
See, right after I said that you're gonna always, I picked the youngest, and you pick like the oldest,
One of the
other than
oldest.
Ledecky in the first page that I see here. So
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. But that's just what my gut's telling me. Who's to say? Event number 3, men's 100 breast. Now I think this is
speaking of
like a
old,
really, well, yeah, speaking of old, top seed Nick Fink, only guy under 59 seconds on the psych sheet. Then we've got we've got 9 guys who are under the 1 minute barrier. Michael Andrew and Nick Fink were the 2. That's not true, is it? And Michael Andrew and Andrew Wilson were the 2 guys who made the 100 breast in 2021. Michael Andrew is the 5th seed right now. I think Nick Fink is a safe bet at this point.
Yep.
He's been so consistent throughout this quad. Who do you have number 2 for this one?
I actually have Noah Nichols at number 2. And now that
Hmm.
might be somewhat surprising, because I believe that his seat time there is the only time he's ever broken a minute.
Mhm.
But his in-season swims this year leading into it have been quite a bit faster than he was going up to his 59.4. Before, his PB before that was like 100.8, and he's had a lot of long course swims that are right in that like 100 mid to low range. In his last 2 meets, I think before nationals last year, he was like 101, 102. And so part of that could be, yes, once you go that fast, it becomes a lot easier to go slightly slower than that, because this is your new bar and it's a lot easier to come up a little below that. But I think that's a good curve, good trajectory, good momentum. Momentum can be a lot going into a big pressure meet like that, especially if that pressure is just kind of consuming you a little bit. It can be easy to go, wait, I got this. I've been dropping. I know what I'm doing. Kind of that mental safe haven to go back to if the outside world is getting a little much.
Hmm. I like that pick. I think there's a lot of great storylines in this field. Like, people I would love to see get that second spot, assumably behind Nick Fink. I think Josh Matheny, to me, has the best shot, just because he made the 100 last summer. He's represented the U.S. Like, he kind of knows what it takes, and his trajectory is going up, rather than someone like Michael Andrew, who has a ton of international experience,
Yes.
but missed the world champs team last summer, and hasn't had the best quad of his career. I would love to see Michael make it, and I hope he does make this Olympic team. But and I know that he knows what it takes to perform when it counts, but we haven't seen him swim at a really high level. Certainly not this year. So we don't really know what we're going to get from him. And I think Matheny would be my pick, just because, not only because I think he has experience on an international level and making a team, but because his trajectory is looking good for this year, coming off of the summer he had last year.
Yeah, and I would
But
love
there
to
are,
see Foster make it. But I really wanted to pick Jake Foster. I think it'd be awesome for him and Carson to be on an Olympic team together. I would love to be
Maybe the
surprised there.
200.
I was between Nichols and Matheny, so I do respect that pick of Matheny there. And yeah, go back to Michael Andrew. He's someone who normally swims really fast in season,
Mhm.
unless he's radically changed his training, which I haven't heard anything out of him. Sounds like he's doing pretty much what's always worked for him, because hey, if it ain't broke.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been going as fast as he has in other years. So I don't really see it in the cards for him to drop several spots from seed in order to make it back onto that Olympic team.
Yeah. So, but we'll see how it goes. That's the men's 100 breast. Next event, number 4, men's 400 freestyle. David Johnston, top seed at 345.7. We've got 9 guys who are under 348. I think a legitimate question is not only who will make it, but will 2 men get under the A cut?
I think that in this, it's not as much talking about placement. I think it's more about event management, kind of like with Reagan Smith and the 100 fly, because I think I got Kieran Smith get in the A cut, get in the win. In second place, I have Carson Foster. Let me explain this one, because I know that the SwimSwam official picks did not put him in as swimming it. He has swam it way more this season, actually swimming it in season, whereas I think his last 2 years of swimming it, he swam it at like a Speedo sectionals and a Speedo sectionals, exactly 1 year apart, no swims in between. He's been swimming it in season. That's where I believe that's where his 347 comes from, and his best time 345. That should be a good bet for a second spot. And the thing that really pushed me over for it is because, one, I just want to see it. I said this after his 143 split in Doha. I want to see him do a 400 free. He seems like a 400 freestyler that's trapped by all these other events sometimes, because his 200 free shows some good freestyle talent. He goes up to a 400 IM. He can swim 400 meters of different strokes, just focus in on the same stroke. And him hemming and hawing between the 2 free and the 400 IM makes me think that him and his coaches think that his freestyle is in a really good spot. So I think he's going to go with the 400 IM over the 2 free. But if you already think your freestyle's good, you may as well add that 400 free. You didn't swim it at nationals last year because of an event conflict with 400 IM. Not a problem this year.
It would be really, really interesting to see if he swims 400 free on night 1, makes the team, if that impacts his decision on day 2 of 400 IM versus 200 free. Because I think if he makes it in the 400 free, he'll swim the 200 free, right? Because he told me that he has a lot of confidence in his 200 freestyle, not only in the US but on the international stage. His freestyle has been feeling very good, and so the 200 free is, I think, more open in terms of winning a gold medal than the 400 IM is, because of Leon Marchand, right? I don't think Carson thinks he will beat Leon in the 400 IM, and 400 free one day, 400 IM the next day is tough, right? But you have lots of guys going 400 free, 200 free. And I think that's, he certainly puts in the work for that. That'd be pretty epic to see him go from a 400 IMer to a 4 free, 2 free.
That'd be pretty sick, especially at this stage in his career, right? Because that's something you'd expect like an age grouper to do and be like, yeah, we've been doing this, let's try this, or even like an older high schooler maybe. But you start racking up some world championship hardware in your 400 IM, then to ditch it, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna make. Oh man, I'm picking Kieran Smith. Last time I didn't pick Kieran Smith for something, he yelled at me, so I'm caving to peer pressure. I'm kidding. Kieran Smith.
I
he's gonna win the
respect that
free.
so much. He's like, hey, what the hell?
He gave me some crap for it. I'm going Florida sweep, but not in the direction you might think. I'm choosing Bobby Fink.
Okay.
I think Bobby Fink has we've never seen him throw down a really good 400 free, and I think he has the ability to. And he saw what everyone did last summer. He saw Sam Short go off in the 400 free. He saw Ahmed Hafnaoui go off not only these guys doing the 400 free well, but doing the 800 free well, doing the mile well. There's so many guys who are doing it at a very high level now. I think Fink wants to get in on it. I think he wants to go for triple gold, and I think he's gonna make the 400 freestyle. So that's what I'm saying for the 400 free.
That
Two
would
A
be really
cuts.
cool to see. That would be, yeah. Oh, could you imagine if Fink gets second and then doesn't get the A cut?
Please get 2 A cuts, guys. I don't care who makes it. Just I mean, Jake Mitchell's time trial was one of the greatest swims to come out of the 2021 Olympic trials, but like I don't think we need a repeat. Like we don't
Yeah.
need a sequel.
It wouldn't
Sequels
be
are never as
special
good.
if we did it again,
Yeah.
right?
Like we've done it once. Let's move on.
Now, in order to top it, you need to like break the world record or something.
Right.
Imagine
Exactly.
first ever 439 in a time trial.
Dude, that is where it would happen though. You know how I feel. You know how I feel about
Yes.
this.
We've made this abundantly clear by now.
That I don't think it's going to happen in Paris, but it could happen in a time trial. All right. Event number 5. Oh, men's 200 freestyle. Very timely. I mean, Luke Hobson is the only guy seated under 145. I think it's fair to say Hobson's getting an individual spot. But I mean, we can even go to top 4 on this. Who do you have for top 4 or top 6? I don't care.
I've got
Do what
top
you
6
want,
written
dude.
down, so I'll just.
Oh
I'll just
yeah,
go
let's go.
So I do think that Kieran Smith is gonna not Kieran Smith. Kieran Smith gets second behind Luke Hobson. What I was trying to open my mouth to say is I think Carson Foster does scratch after semis. I think he goes a time that in semis that would have placed third. That's kind of where I'm feeling. I'm like maybe like right behind Kieran Smith in something where it's like, yeah, in a race he probably would have challenged. That's kind of how I'm feeling. And then for the next 4 spots, I got Drew Kibler, Jake Mitchell, Aaron Shackle, and Jake McGahee.
Ooh,
Fairly
Jake
safe picks for
McGahee.
me.
Yeah. What
I
Jake
feel like
McGahee,
I'm feeling high on
13th
him, and I feel
seed,
like he can sneak
but
in.
yeah, no, I think those are solid picks. I think Luke Hobson. So we're going under the assumption that Carson Foster scratches after semis. I think that's
At
fine.
least I am.
I'll go with that too.
Okay.
It's just so we're operating in the same universe. Luke Hobson, Kieran Smith. I like those 2 picks for the. Although I'm wondering if Drew Kibler is gonna like for real swim the 400 free, because if he doesn't, if he like swims prelims and then scratches or just scratches altogether, like I kind of like Drew Kibler for that number 2 spot over Mr. Kieran Smith because he's a little more fresh and rested. But either way,
We just went over how Kieran Smith is going to yell at you.
I know it scares me, but my top 6: Luke Hobson, Kieran Smith, Drew Kibler, Jake Mitchell, Henry McFadden, aka Henry McDadden. I think he had an up and down freshman year at Stanford, but he looked great last summer, and like all year in the NCAA, his 200 free, his last 50 was stellar. He has such a good back half that I think it's going to show in long course. And so I like him, and I'm going young guns here. And I like Maximus Williamson. I think he's going to have a great long course season, and I think it's his time to get on a team, and I think that's going to be his one of his best shots for sure.
I was going back and forth between McGahee and Williamson at the end there, trying to figure out, and I went with McGahee. Just honestly, I don't really know what the thought process was. I just went with him. But I feel like Williamson is going to creep in to a lot of finals and be in contention for some spots. And I will say I feel most solid in the 1-2 there, Luke Hobson, Kieran Smith. the next 4 after that, realistically, I could see going in any order. I think it's going to be one touch. They're all going to be together, and it's going to be like, oh, I didn't realize he got him on the other side of the pool.
There's 22 guys who are seated at 147 or better. And I mean, honest, it only takes a second and a half drop from that, and someone is going to have that drop, right? And whether that gets them a number 6 seed or not, maybe this will be the year where it actually takes a 145 to get top 6. I don't think so, but we'll see.
Actually, I would like to. Oh,
hey guys,
special guest Yin Yin Lee. What's up?
I'm doing good. Ready to talk about trials 20 minutes late.
Well, we're only 5 events in, so it's all good.
Okay.
You're joining us at a great time.
I was gonna say after that point you just made about it only takes second and a half. I would like to switch my 6th pick to University of Wisconsin's and my former club teammate Chris Morris.
What are we on right now? Men's 200 free?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we're just finishing that though. Chris Morris, 21st seed, 147.6. It's possible, but let's go to men's 400 IM, event number 6. Assuming Carson Foster swims the men's 400 IM, to me this is fairly cut and dry. Carson and Chase are the perennial favorites, but what do you guys think?
That was what I put. I felt so boring.
Yeah, I think this was an event that I was thinking about because every year since Tokyo, I've been wondering like, when is Chase Kalish gonna be done? And like, this is not me saying I want him to retire, but I don't know. He's just aging, but he's been really consistent. And like in the past, I've thought, oh, this might be Bobby Fink's time to drop a good time and maybe take over, but he's not swimming the event here. So yeah, I've got to be boring and pick Carson at first, Chase at second, but I don't think I'm as confident about this as most people are, because there are some up and coming names. Jay Litherland probably in the same spot as his career as Chase Kalis. They train together, but I wouldn't rule him out. David Johnston's right there, and I don't know. And this is nothing against Chase Kalish's progression, because I think he has been 410 this season, has usually drops pretty good in season times, but I don't know. There's just like one meet where you run out of gas. We saw that happen. We kind of saw that happen with Haley Flickinger in these past few years. Like she's been really consistent, but all of a sudden she just like ran out of gas and like called it quits. And I think, I don't know, maybe it's Chase Kalish's time soon, but it doesn't seem like it now. Yeah, he did go.
We've seen Jay Litherland run down someone for an Olympic spot at the last 2 Olympic trials, and it would be so epic if he did that for a 3rd time in a row. I'm not predicting it.
That would be crazy.
To his teammate,
the one that he got second behind both times.
I can't predict it because Chase has been incredibly consistent this season, and
he's looked good.
Jay hasn't been, but Olympic trials is the place for that to happen. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Next event, women's 100 breaststroke. Lily King, top seed, 104.7, only woman under 105. We've got 2 women under 106 at Lydia Jacoby and Caitlin Dobler. And then we've got 2 more women, Emma Weber and Kate Douglas, under 107. I mean, Lily and Lydia for me, it's going to be a close race, I think, but I'm going to go with what I know. Lily's not losing. Lily's not qualifying for an Olympics in Indianapolis, and I think Lydia has looked good enough to safely say she knows when it's go time and she's going to get her hand on the wall.
Yeah, seems like there's 2 pretty clear favorite. Actually, no. I'm going to go with Lily King, and I'm going to go with Caitlin Dobler pulling for the upset. She's looked really good in short course this year, when a best time. Hasn't yeah, she also went 106.7 in long course, and she's just been progressing and progressing over these past few years, just like getting faster and faster in the 100 breast. Her breaststroke progression. Let's see. So 106.2 at Olympic trials in 2021, 106.1, and then 105 in 2022, and then 105.4 in 2023. And I think that kind of stuff, it's sort of like with Bobby Fink in the 400M, like she just keeps creeping up and up and up. And someone like Lydia Jacoby, she has looked better than Dobler in season this year, but Jacoby, I feel like she's been inconsistent at major meets since Tokyo, and she hasn't really hit the stride that she hit at Tokyo. She hasn't broken 105 since then, I believe, and I think if there's a time for an upset, then it's going to be Olympic trials, and I'm going to be contrarian here and pick an upset.
Well, I also think Lily King is going to Lily King in Indianapolis is just, I'm not bold enough to bet against that.
Yeah.
I am also going to go for an upset, though, but I'm not going to be a tiebreaker here because I have Kate Douglas, because she has not really focused on this event before this season. She swam a 108.5 in 2019 and then has a massive gap until a 107.0 at the Atlanta Classic in 2023, and then has been 107, 106, 106, 106. So this seems to be the first season in a while, at least, where she's seriously taking this event seriously. And she's already sitting at 5th seed, 106.6, right in the range to kind of strike up and get into that second position. And I've seen people doubt Kate Douglas before and it go poorly, and I do not want to put myself in that position.
Okay. My issue with Kate Douglas here is that I don't really think the Olympics are a great time to pick up new events, especially if you're someone like Kate Douglas who already has to decide between so many events. And I think it has hurt her in the past, I feel like, to do too much at once. But now that she's finally getting into that 100 free, 200 breast, 200 Ryan rhythm, I don't really think she wants to disrupt that. And I personally think she swims the 100 breast to have a better 200 breast. That's why she swims it at smaller meets. It's why she trains for the 100 breast. But for an event like Olympic trials, I don't think she'll end up swimming the 100 breast.
I do think, though, it can be beneficial to have that, as because she doesn't really have anything before that. And so that can be a good, even, to swim it through, even through finals, and just see what happens. I don't think 300 yards of breaststroke is going to take that much out of you through 3 rounds, and kind of to knock the cobwebs off a bit, like shake it. Okay, this is my first big final swim in this Olympic pool, getting a feel for the crowd, and just that. I think it's beneficial to get that almost not necessarily loosen up swim because you're still competing for a spot, but something that's not an event that, people have super high expectations for me in. And I can just, if I get 3rd or 4th, no one's going to be like, oh, she's washed. It's going to be, oh, good swim.
Right.
Oh yeah, you're right. She doesn't compete for the first time until, I guess, if it weren't for the 100 breast, she wouldn't have been competing until Tuesday, which is day 4. And if she had the 100 breast, she would be first competing on day 2.
I see like a prelim swim here, get the cobwebs, get the first swim in, maybe prelim semi, but it's also like making the Olympic team is not guaranteed no matter who you are. And it could be an event where she's like, I want to make the team. And then if I make it in all my other events too, maybe I won't swim it, but like making the Olympic team is a big deal, and getting the pressure off your shoulders of actually doing it, it matters. So we'll see what happens, but let's move on to event number 8, men's 100 backstroke. Ooh. All right. Ryan Murphy, Hunter Armstrong, Justin Ress, and Destin Lasco are your 4 men who are seated under 53 seconds. And then we've got another, top 13 are under 54 seconds. I think it's safe to say, Ryan Murphy and Hunter Armstrong seem like the top 2 favorites. Do we have any challengers?
Not really. If Lasco were to challenge, it would be in the 200. I don't see it in the 100.
Yeah, that was another one I felt very boring putting down. Like, Murphy, Armstrong, same as last cycle.
If Shane had been having a great season, maybe Shane as well. But he's at 9th seed and it was 53.5. So don't see it happening.
The Shane Casas storylines at this meet are gonna go crazy. I don't know what he's gonna do, but there's gonna be a storyline.
How many final jokes will be made in the live recaps of prelims and finals? How many? They should add a B final.
Oh, okay. We can keep that one going later. So men's 100 back, pretty set in stone for previews. Event number 9, women's 200 freestyle. We got Katie Ledecky at 154.9, only woman under 155. We've got 3 other women under 156 at Claire Weinstein, Bella Sims, Erin Gimmel. The next seeds are Alex Shackle, Leah Smith, Hannah Poplawski, Paige Madden, and Simone Manuel, all at 156 or 157. We've got 2 more women, Katie Grimes and Addison Saiki, under 158. Who do we got? Top 6 here. What are we thinking?
Someone else go first. I need to collect my thoughts.
David, notes on 200 free?
I think that Ledecky is going to get the individual win back. I think that Weinstein getting over on her in 2023 was kind of more a one-off that year. One thing I noticed in terms of Ledecky being remarkably consistent is that she was, looking at her in-season swims, was a 154.97 in San Antonio. She was a 154.96 in early March last year. That's Katie Ledecky for you. Yeah. Clearly, she's able to pace out over a season as well as over a race. And then I do think that basically Ledecky and Weinstein are going to flip, and they're going to be 1-2 in the opposite order than they were last year. And then I have in third, because I am apparently a sucker for comeback stories, I have Simone Manuel. And I think that Ledecky is going to not contest the event individually, bump Simone up.
What do you think Simone's going to go?
I don't know. I mean, she just
third.
Just went a 157.0 at the Grand Challenge, which is actually faster than her seed time.
It's going to take 155 to get third. So you think Simone Manuel's going to go 155?
That's what I'm thinking.
Because Erin Gimmel and Bella Sims, they've both been 155 before. And I think they'll be around their best at this meet. And you think Simone Manuel is going to beat out both of them?
I think because we haven't seen her do a 200 free since switching to, because she surprised a lot of people by staying with Bowman with the move, because she trains more primarily with him. He's made some good 200 free swimmers in the past, and she's looked rock solid ever since she's been back in competition. And you know what? I know normally the upset picks are for the young up-and-comers. I say we're doing an upset pick for the veteran returning to form.
All right, Yin, who you got?
Okay. I agree with David. I think Katie Ledecky is going to get her lick back in this event, win, but she's not going to swim it individually. And for second, I'm going to go with Erin Gimmel, joining her former, not even former, they were never training partners, but NCAP. I'll just say that.
NCAP alum.
Yeah, NCAP alum. I'm also going to go with Anna Poplawski as my third spot, because she obviously had a huge drop, dipped under 157. I think she's gonna do better than a 7th place finish. Obviously had a big NCAA swim. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna swap Gemmel and Peplowski. I think Peplowski is gonna get second. Gemmel's gonna get third. Weinstein fourth. Sims fifth. And then for that last spot, I'm gonna go with Paige Madden. She's been doing great under Bob Bowman. Has won a PB in the 400 free, and she has the experience of being on that Tokyo relay, and I think she's got what it takes to make her first international team since then. And this is not me saying that Simone Manuel won't be close, but it's just this relay is so competitive, and I just don't think this is her bread and butter.
All I'm
Even
saying is
though-
one thing that Simone Manuel is known for is when it comes time to race, defying expectations. If someone can get her in an outside lane, she can pace
That's
that
true.
perfectly. Lane one.
We've seen Simone do it before. The 200 free, I'm less sure about, especially for an individual spot, but in no particular order, well, I'm going to say Katie Ledecky wins. I think Weinstein, Sims, Peplowski, Madden, Manuel, and Gimmel or Shackle for my
Oh my
sixth
god, I
spot.
forgot about Shuffle as well.
It's gonna be a crazy heat. I'll go with Shackle, but it's gonna be a great event. We got to move on though. Event number 10, women's 400 IM. I think this will be a little quicker. Katie Grimes is your top seed at 4:31. 5 seconds later, we've got Leah Hayes, then Emma Wyant, Leah Smith. Justina Kozan is at 440.97, as is Leela Bognar. So only 4 women under that 440 barrier. What are you guys thinking?
I think Katie Grimes pretty much a lock for that first spot. No one's disputing that. And I think second spot also pretty clear cut between Leah Hayes and Emma Wyant, but I'm gonna go with Wyant just because she's probably fueled from that DQ last year. She's been looking great in short course, and I don't know. She just has more momentum, and I don't think this is Leah Hayes' top event.
Yeah, David, who you got?
Basically the exact same. Katie Grimes, Emma Wyant, and I think that Wyant exactly coming off of that DQ. As long as she's not throwing in any dolphin kicks, she'll be good for second. And her in-season swims have been so predictably in line with what she's done in past seasons when she's been at her best. And so that's not throwing any alarm bells that she's going to be radically slower and bump her out of contention for top 2.
I just
think she's a pretty
looked up
solid lock.
I just looked up the 400 IM rankings, and I see like a 424, and I'm like, did they accidentally put like a men's swimmer like in here? But no, it's Summer McIntosh.
Yeah, well, the world record is not close to our psych sheets for U.S. trials. That is for sure. But yeah, I think Katie Grimes and Emma Wyant look very poised to make their Olympic berths in this event. Leah Hayes, I think, has a good shot, but Emma is coming off a great season at Florida and has I'm guessing a fire burning in this event for her for sure.
I only just realized, talking about Summer McIntosh's world record, that at the top of the psych sheet has the world record 425 and then pending world record 424. I just never read that on there. I think that's interesting. It's kind of funny.
I guess you don't.
This is not
see
officially
that,
ratified. Yeah.
Right. That is pretty funny. All right. Event number 11, women's 100 backstroke. We have got 1 woman under 58 seconds. We've got 3 more women under 59 seconds. Reagan Smith, top seed. Burkhoff, Curzan, and Smoliga are in there under 58 seconds. I think that might be all you need. I've got Reagan, and it's between Burkhoff and Curzan. I'm gonna go Burkhoff. I think she. Yeah, I don't need to justify myself. I think it's going to be Reagan. I think it's going to be Catherine Burkhoff. She's had a great season. She had a great season, long course season last year. And I think she makes her first Olympic team.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Burkhoff. I mean Reagan first, and then Burkhoff second, just cause. I mean, could be Claire Curzan. She had a great World Championships, but I'm just sticking what I think. There's really not much to say here.
I'm just going to fall right in line with the same thing. Reagan Smith, Catherine Burkhoff. Hopefully we can, bring the heat now that Australia has had 257s, that Burkhoff can drop 2 100ths and go at least to 57.99.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of eyes on this race because the whole USA United States of backstroke thing is the United States of backstroke title is under threat. They got to do something about that.
Well, I mean, U.S. women do not have the backstroke title currently and have not had it for quite some time, with Kaylee McEwen pretty much being very dominant in that event. But, there's still Paris, so we'll see. Next up, men's 800 freestyle.
Oh, this
I
event
think
is
we can
kind of
all pick
boring.
Robert Fink or Bobby Fink as making the team in this. But yeah, after that, you've got 13 men who are under 8 minutes. Ooh, the 13th of which is Luka Mijatovic,
Oh.
who is, I think, 15 at this point, but could drop 11 seconds to make the team. But who do you guys like for the second spot in this outside of Bobby Fink?
Ooh.
I really want to see Luka at least make that final. I don't know if he'll be in contention for top 2, but just being able to see in prime time him, even if it was on an outside lane, hopefully smashing a national age group record, would be pretty cool. I feel like there's so many in a race that long that when there's so many people right in with a couple seconds, it's not unreasonable for someone to get one over on someone else. I've got David Johnston, though.
I think I've got Luke Whitlock being the surprise young swimmer that qualifies, top swimmer this year. And my main concern with him is that he's young and sort of like doesn't have the experience of swimming at a high stage. But the fact that the 800 free time finals, or is it
prelims finals?
Okay. Never mind. I am wrong. I was gonna say time final, sort of like if he swims a really good time in prelims and then is in finals and could choke because of the pressure, that could happen. But I think but my point still stands. This is an event that's pretty wide open for the taking after Bobby Fink, and Luke Whitlock could surprise us. High school senior, Florida commit, could join his future training partner.
I would love to see Ross Dant, the number 2 seed, make this team and make his first Olympic team, make his first like major, plan A gold medal team of like a world champs or an Olympic games. He was really close to the last trials. It seems like he's been knocking on the door every trial since. And he had like a solid season this year. And I think he's been training at the NC State distance crew, which is very stout. And, I would love to think that he's due for a big meet, and I hope it's going to be this one for him. But that's my pick on hope. But yeah, I think behind Mr. Fink, it is pretty wide open. Event number 13, men's 200 fly. Ooh, you've got some options here. We've got 9 men under 156. Luca Orlando is the 10th seed. We've got Thomas Heilman as the top seed. Carson Foster, Zach Harding, Trenton Julian, Mason Lauer, Jack Dahlgren, Aaron Shackle, Darai Rose, Chase Kalish, Luca Orlando. Honestly, I feel like any of those guys have a legitimate shot. Gabe Jett is the 13th seed. I feel like there's someone who's even lower that also I'm like, yeah, they could do it, but I mean, I think Thomas Heilman wins this event after
Yes.
making the world champs team last summer. I think he's gonna be stellar. I think I'm gonna pick Luca Orlando, which is not like a crazy pick, but he is the 10th seed. I'm gonna pick Luca to get second, just because it seems like he's doing better under Bob Bowman. He's been, we think, injury free for a while, and I think he'll get close to his best time of 1:53.8 and get his hand on the wall for second and make his first Olympic team.
I
You
think
stole my thunder, Coleman. I was gonna have the same picks. Luke Orlando, redemption after finishing third in Tokyo.
Yeah.
He will make the Olympics. And I have Thomas Hallman as well.
Yeah, Thomas Heilman feels like a really easy first pick. And I'm actually going to, I originally had written down, Carson Foster, just 1-2 on the psych sheet. They're just like in the women's 2 free, like I said, flipping from what last year's national was. I'm actually going to pivot to Zach Harding. Feel like he's someone who knows the 200 fly quite well. And, that last 50, yeah, he's out of it. He's aging out. Oh, wait, there he goes.
It's a gutsy pick, but he's been sticking around. He's had a solid pro career, and I think he will certainly be in that final. And if he is in that final, I mean, we all know what the 200 fly is, right? I mean, it's like, who can manage the last 50 the best? It's not even who can swim the best fastest last 100, but it's like, who can manage the pain the best. And so, especially at a trials meet, sometimes it's not very fast, and all it takes is to get home on that last 50 and pass 5 other people who have just started riding the struggle bus. So it's the best race in swimming, and I'm sure it's going to be a good show in Indy. Event number 14. Oh, men's 100 freestyle. I know I keep having the same reaction to every event, but this is going to be an incredible event, as will the women's 100 free be. Okay. 6 men under 48 seconds. We've got 22 men under 49 seconds.
That's crazy.
It's a lot of depth in this event, a lot of options.
And 23 I'm gonna is 49.00.
So
it doesn't fall off after that.
All right. Give me your top 2, not your top 6. Give me your top 2 for the 100 freestyle.
Jack Alexi, Caleb Dressel.
Okay. David?
In that order.
Jack Alexi, Caleb Dressel, in that order. I've been going back and forth. I feel like I always keep Alexi number 1 and then just kind of keep going. No, I think Dressel gets third. I think he gets second. No, I think he gets third. And I've been solidly in second now.
I think the 100 free is Dressel's quote-unquote weakest event, and I think it is an event where he will get progressively better and better throughout the summer. So I don't think trials is his time yet.
Oh, God. Jack Alexi, Chris Giuliano. I think the 100 free is his weakest event. I think he gets better throughout the meet. I think Dressel's top 4. I think Chris Giuliano has an incredible trajectory over the last 11 months. And I think he has a great base. And so I think his second 50 is going to be rocking. And I think he passes Dressel in the last 10 meters. I want Dressel to get the second spot. I would love to see him swim it in Paris, but 47.4 in February, like, whew, that is hard to argue with for me. But, Olympic trials is a different beast. Dressel has done 2 of them before and made the team. And while Chris Giuliano has not. So we'll see. Do you guys want to do top 6? Do you want to give me your next 4? Or is it just too painful?
I've got some picks. I have Giuliano in third. And the thing that made me a net, because Dressel and Giuliano was who I was going between when I was just kind of going back and forth and literally like scratching out on a piece of paper what I thought my picks were, and I've like rewrote it multiple times. The thing that made me eventually push Dressel over is that I think I'm getting the feeling that that 47.4 might be closer to his ceiling because it was at ACCs when he was clearly in peak form. Don't know how much. It wasn't an in-season training load meet. He didn't do it at, it's not like Dressel swimming it at a pro swim series. He went 47.4. It'd be all like world records toast now if he ever did that. And it was a time trial, which I think, because it's not necessarily when it comes to getting those spots, it's not about how fast you can go. It's about what order you touch the wall in. And if there's someone who's really good at managing those waves in finals, I mean, Giuliano is obviously great because he managed to do it first, second last year, but Dressel is very, very good at it. I don't know if I can think of an instance of him gaining from prelims or semis to finals outside of it being an obvious tactical decision. Like 2019 is world record in the 100 fly, that was to manage the triple, and that was pretty much known that was the plan, right? But outside of, I mean, we see a lot of top level swimmers, in some cases world record holders in events that, as far as we can tell, it's not a load management thing. It's just hard to be at that absolute peak. And I think, like you mentioned, the pressure of trials and how it, like, Dressel is good at managing this in general. He knows it at trials. And I think that's enough for him to probably out-touch Just. I'm not saying he's going to blow away everyone else behind Alexi. I think just get his hand on the wall first over Giuliano. And then behind that, I got Ryan Held. He's finally not going to need to be sitting there watching the roster count to see if he gets to make the team. Fourth, definitely in for the relay. And then I have Luke Hobson and Johnny Kulo, who Luke Hobson is, I mean, he's 47.6 split at 2024 Worlds, much slower relay leadoff, but his relay splits were looking pretty good. And the common wisdom about a 200-yard free is that it doesn't necessarily showcase your 200-meter free, but it does do a pretty good job at telegraphing where you're going to land in a 100 long course meters free. I would say he had a pretty good 200-yard freestyle at NCAAs, and so that could be showing that he's got, locked, loaded, ready to go, a really fast 100-meter freestyle.
Fair enough. Yin
And Santo in seventh.
Brutal.
Is he even going to be able to swim? Because to me, it sounds like this is a bit of a lost cause. Anyways, that's another story. But
yeah.
I think I'm going to go with Matt King. Provided some great relay splits last year. They're going to need him. Chris Giuliano, Ryan Held. And then for that last spot, I'm going to go with Brooks Curry. I think he was on the outside looking in last year, barely. And I think he's got the experience, and he was one of US's top 2 swimmers in 2022. I think he's got what it takes to make the team again this year.
All right. Let's see. For my top 6, let's go. Alexi, Giuliano, Dressel, Matt King. I am also going to pick Johnny Kulo. And for my 6th spot, I'm going to give it to Destin Lasco. Let's go with that.
I was just about to bring him up as, hey, we're all kind of going over him, but I'm glad you included him just to hit everyone that's a 47.
It's obviously problematic to see him go like 200 and a 200 long course backstroke at whatever meet was in May or something, but like, I'm going to assume Cal knows what they're doing, and like, pending sickness or injury from Lasco, like, I don't think he threw down anything super special last season before trials, and then he made the team in the 100 free and the 200 back. And I think, again, if he's on form, or if everything is good with him health wise, I think he can do that again. So that's what I'm going with. Let's move on. Women's mile, Katie Ledecky and Katie Grimes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is that
an easy
is
one.
that-
Enough
Thanks.
said.
Okay.
After
All right,
that,
we
that was
don't-
like such a nice, refreshing.
we don't need to discuss that one that much.
And
All
then
right.
boom, we are back to the woman's 100 free.
No!
Okay. Top 6. I'm going first. I think this is an easier one. So like, okay. I'm going first. I think it's easier. Kate Douglas, Abby Weitzel, Tori Husk, Gretchen Walsh, Simone Manuel. I think the 6th pick is really where it gets tricky. I'm going with Katie Duluth for my number 6. She's looked really solid in season this year. I think she can do it, but I think those top 5 are pretty much across the board who everyone is picking as their top 5 because they have all looked sensational this in season this year. David, let's go with you next.
Let's see. I got 1, 2. Got to go with the 52s, right? Kate Douglas, Abby Weitzel. I feel like that's a solid pick. Abby Weitzel, I personally have a habit of underestimating her and then just look really foolish. But normally I never say it publicly, so I'm not publicly humiliated. So this time I need to actually say Abby Weitzel.
Okay,
so
wait, hold
Kate
on.
Douglas,
Sorry.
Abby-
I know in my order I said that. I'm picking Tori Husk as 2nd, but I think Abby makes the team. Sorry, go ahead.
Then I got Tori Husk in 3rd, and I think I'm gonna put Simone Manuel 4th, Maxine Parker 5th, and your 6th is too difficult.
You think Maxine Parker's going to beat Gretchen Walsh?
I forgot to write Gretchen Walsh in. Yeah, that is gonna really reorder things. I think I just thought I put her somewhere and then didn't. Well, then that solves my dilemma of 6. I'm gonna put Maxine Parker 6 and then Gretchen Walsh in there. This is worse than when we forgot about Kate Douglas that one time.
All right.
I just didn't write it down.
I have a different variation of what David has. I have Kate Douglas 1st. I have Gretchen Walsh 2nd. Tori Husk 3rd. Abby Weitzel 4th. Simone Manuel 5th. And Maxine Parker 6th.
Yeah. So again, I think the top 5 are in whatever order. I think everyone's kind of like those 5 are going to make it. But it would be so epic if Simone gets an individual spot. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm not going to bet on it, but it would be so cool if she did. But okay, that's the women's 100 free. That wasn't so bad. Men's 200 breast, event number 17. Matt Fallon, only guy under 208. Then we've got 3 other guys who are under 209 at Foster, Josh Matheny, and Nick Fink. I think those are the main competitors, although after that we've got Will Lacone, Daniel Roy, Cody Miller, and Charlie Swanson, who I think all have a fighting chance at least. Who you got? 200 breast, men's 200 breast, historically a pretty finicky event at Olympic trials, though. So what are you guys thinking here?
I've got
Yin-yin?
Matt Fallon.
Oh, yeah, David, go ahead.
Matt Fallon, and then Josh Matheny. I think I want to see Foster in that 2nd position. This is kind of why before I was saying that I'm like, oh, you're like, you got 200 breasts. I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't pick him. I want to see it though. I just am feeling. I feel like Josh Matheny's gonna have a solid 200 breast, and then I think Will Lacone is gonna place 3rd again.
Oh God.
God,
Why'd you do it, David?
Because could you imagine the article? 3rd straight Olympic trials.
Dude.
3rd, 3 for 3.
3 for 3. Jesus. All right, Yin.
I'm going with Matt Fallon 1st, Jake Foster 2nd, because if I've got to put him out there. Got to put the pick out there.
And I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I think after getting going into the final as the top seed last season and then solidly getting 8th in the final, I think Matt Fallon is going to overcorrect and blow away the final this year. He's looked great this quad, really. And so, yeah, Matt Fallon first. I think it is between Matheny and Foster just because Nick Fink and Will Lacone are old. And so I don't think they're going to last through 3 rounds of 200 breaststroke and then have enough to get second. It would be awesome to see Daniel Roy get second just because he was on this comeback road and then he barely got into the meet. We weren't even sure if he was going to swim, and then he did, and it'd be great to see. But I picked Josh Matheny in the 100. I would love to see Jake Foster get second, but my official pick is going to be Josh Matheny in the 200. But again, weird things happen in this event, so I wouldn't be surprised if someone else does. Oh, and then we've got women's 200 breaststroke. Kate Douglas has the American record.
I just did the preview for this. I'm going Kate Douglas and Lily King. I know some people think Lily King's gonna get upset, but she always shows up at trials, and there's just too much of a gap between King and the rest of the field.
Between Lily King and Alex Walsh?
Yeah, it's still 2 seconds. I don't know. I'm not buying the Alex Walsh hype.
But what has Lily King gone this year?
223. But she also was 220 around that time last year and still won at trials.
Fair enough. David, who you got?
Kate Douglas is as safe a pick as any, as a favorite as you can be going into Olympic trials where upsets do happen. But her number one, I think that if this was Olympic trials in Omaha, it's Alex Walsh. We're in Indianapolis. It's Lily King.
Is the home field pool advantage really a thing?
I think it is for Lily King.
Lily King it is. Lily King does not lose in Indianapolis. That might be a proven fact, but it's certainly.
Can we get swimming stats on this?
Yeah, Yin, you're gonna hear it in Lucas Oil. Like Lily King has a home field advantage, and it might, like anyone else, maybe it'll like affect them one way or the other, but like Lily King swims really well in Indianapolis. And for that reason, I am picking Kate Douglas and Lily King. Okay, men's 200 backstroke. Ryan Murphy is your only competitor under 155. Destin Lasco is under 156. You've got 2 guys in Jack Akins and Daniel Deal at 156.0. Ian Grum's 156.3. Hunter Tapp's 156.4. Carson Foster's entered at a 156.9. That's interesting. I think Ryan Murphy and Destin Lasco, I think Destin had a great year. He broke Ryan Murphy's NC2A record in the 200 backstroke. I think he had a great long course season last year. And once again, I'm not really worried about his end season swims. Cal knows what they're doing. Pending his sickness or injury, Destin Lasco is healthy. I think he gets the second spot.
I'm going to go with Ryan Murphy and Jack Akins. Akins did an Olympic gap year. I actually talked to him to break this news. He said that finishing third at trials sort of like allowed him to take a step back and reflect on what his priorities were, and he really spent the year focusing on long course. I think this year is his time. He also herniated a disc in his back between ACCs and NCAAs last year, and sort of came into nationals with that injury. He was better then, but being able to like train and focus on long course for a year injury free will help him.
David
Coleman basically just said exactly what I was thinking. Ryan Murphy, Destin Lasco, and Ryan Murphy feels like a super safe pick. He's been here enough times. He knows what he's doing in a 200 backstroke, and like you were saying, I am not going to doubt Cal's ability to manage a season and their taper, and I'm certainly not going to doubt it in a backstroke event.
Yeah, I think Lasco and Akins are both great picks for this. I think the top 3 or 4 spots, or sorry, the top 2 or 3 behind Ryan Murphy, it'll be close between a few guys, is what I'm trying to say. Women's 200 fly. Oh, go ahead.
Women's IM, I feel like the 200s are like really overwhelming, really underwhelming compared to the 100s, in my opinion. Besides and women's backstroke will also be fun.
I mean, I think more people, it's easier for people to focus on 100, right? Like it's really hard to be good at a 200 long course. I also think swimming is trending down in terms of training. Like people used to put in meters and meters and meters, and I think people are training less than they used to. And I think that, obviously just translates better to better hundreds. But yeah, I agree with you that the 200s are underwhelming compared to the hundreds. All right. Speaking of 200s, we've got a lot of them coming up. Women's Sooner Fly. I'll go first. Reagan Smith makes the team in this event, as does Alex Shackle. I'm picking youth in that regard. I think she'll have a great meet. She's already been 207.1. Dakota Luther has been around the block in this event, certainly, but I think Shackle's youth will prevail ultimately over someone like Tess Howley, Lindsay Looney, or Rachel Klinker.
Tess Howley's still pretty young as well. She's a freshman in college. But no, I'm gonna go with Reagan Smith and Dakota Luther, and Luther because she's been around for quite some time. Won a time at nationals that would have made worlds last year. The pro championships, that would have made worlds last year, and I think, yeah, she's been 206.7, second seed. I think she's gonna pull it off.
I think Reagan Smith wins it, but I really do like the trajectory that Alex Shackle is in. So I got her at number 2 because her last year she was 207.9, and then she went a personal best at Speedo sectionals in March, 207.13, and then was just off of it in the middle of May, 207.16 at the Indy May Cup. That's some solid trajectory to be able to go that close together. That signifies to me that first personal best isn't necessarily like a major, like a fluke. I was really feeling my fly rhythm that day, and it was, it just, I'm never gonna be able to replicate that again. Wasn't any kind of weird rest for some reason for Speedo sectionals, and being that consistent, that close, and that just shows that I think gearing up for enough of a drop to get into that second position at trials.
Oh no, I'm kind of wary about youth swimmers in meets like Olympic trials and the Olympics, because like if there's a meet to choke under pressure, it is this kind of meet, and I just have more confidence in some of the older swimmers when it comes to events like these.
I think it can go both ways, and I think we'll see examples of it in both. I think youth can also be like, oh, so bushy-tailed and bright-eyed that like they don't really know to be nervous, right? And I think Alex Shackle has had experience racing in a trials meet before. She raced at World Champs last summer, so I think older swimmers can get tired and like not have the same endurance they had, especially with semifinals in a 200 as they did when they were 16 or 17. So I agree with you, Yin Yin. Again, I think it can go both ways. I think in this event, I'm going youth. David's going youth. Yin Yin's going experience. We'll see how it goes.
It's also
Women's tuner. Oh, go ahead. It's also the tuner fly.
You do what with that information, whatever you want.
Facts. The 200 fly is the 200 fly. Okay, women's tuner backstroke. I've got Reagan Smith and Claire Curzan. I think Curzan doesn't make the team up to this point, but I think she punches her ticket in this event. She has looked great in the long course tuner back for the last quad. That she's certainly got her work cut out for her. Ryan White, Kennedy Noble, Kennedy Noble, Phoebe Bacon, and Isabel Stodden, I think all pose very real threats, but I'm going Smith and Curzan.
Yeah, I've got to agree with Coleman here. I think the 200 back has been the event that Claire Curzan has been working towards for the past few years now in her progression as a backstroker, which is really weird to say considering that she first emerged on the scene as this like 50 free phenom, and now she's moved towards the backstrokes. But I think this is now her bread and butter.
It's like the opposite of Kieran Smith. Kind of like IMer, 2 backstroker going to like mid distance. the other
Mhm.
side of that. It's all revolves around the 200 back. And I have the exact same pick. Reagan Smith, Claire Curzon. Claire Curzon had a wonderful Doha 2024 Worlds, and I think she definitely upped her stock a bit in all the backstroke events, and I think the 200 back is the strongest. The 100 back is still too hard to crack. I feel like obviously no 50 back, and I think that 200 back is the one where we'll see those improvements come through and allow her to earn an Olympic berth in the event.
Easy. All right. Next up, men's 50 freestyle. Ooh, Yin Yin, you got some picks for this one?
I think Caleb Dressel, Jack Alexi. Simple. But Caleb Dressel comes out on top. I think this is going to be the race where the world goes, oh my God, Caleb Dressel, he's back. He is back.
What does Caleb go to make the world go, he's back? He'd have to go 21-2 for me to be like, oh, Caleb's back.
No, I think he goes 21-4. And
That
I know
wouldn't make
that's
me go,
kind of
oh, he's
conservative
back.
for him, but it's
I
going
guess
to be the
23.
fastest he's gone in a while. But like, he's going to win the race like convincingly. And
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. David?
I think I got Caleb Dressel, and who do I have? I had it in my mind and then immediately lost it. And Jack Alexi. Reigning world's, well, not reigning because Doha, but 2023 world silver medalist. Hard to go against that. And I think Dressel, we haven't yet seen him because in season doesn't really have that much explosiveness, that much just pop off the start. We're going to see that once he gets his rest, and we're going to be reminded of why we spent years talking about how he has the undeniable best start in the world. You go, oh yeah, he's already got a lead and he just popped up. We're going to see that Dressel back in action. And I think I do agree with your line for Dressel being back. I think 21-2 is where I think if he goes 21-2 anything, he's back. He's here. He's arrived.
I'll also pick Caleb Dressel. I'm going to pick Ryan Held. He's the top seed. I think he's more comfortable in this event than the 100, just in that he's got the raw speed. He's training with Herbie. He's a seasoned veteran at this point, and he's got age. And Jack Alexi has looked phenomenal, but I think Ryan Held can do it in this event, and I would love to see him make the team along with Caleb in this event. So I'm going to pick that. I think Jack Alexi is a very safe pick, but I would love to see Held get it, because at this point I think Held is very capable in the 100 free, but like I didn't pick him in my top 6, and I hope he proves me wrong, but we'll see. Okay, men's 200 IM. Shane Casas is your top seed, 156.0. Carson Foster, 156.1. Chase Kalish, 156.5, and then a pretty big drop off. Maximus Williamson is 4th at 157.2.
I keep on going back and forth with my youth selections. Like I used the youth argument in favor of picking someone, and I used the youth argument against picking someone. But this time I'm going with youth. I'm going Carson Foster wins. Maximus Williamson gets second. I do think he will make the Olympic team, and if there's an event that he's going to do it in, it's the 200 IM.
Mm-hmm.
I have the exact same pick. I have Carson Foster, Maximus Williamson, and I think kind of going to what we're talking about before in the 200 fly with youth, and in terms of maybe not succumbing to as much fatigue over time, that is really going to add up at the end of the meet. And so I think that someone like Chase Kalish, who might be in the conversation for that second spot, where's his body going to be at in terms of that recovery and fatigue once you're at the tail end of the meet, compared to if it was at the beginning of the program, might have a different story. But I think that plays in favor of the youth argument, which is why I'm going with Williamson for number 2. And then Carson Foster feels like a very safe number 1 pick.
Is Michael Andrews swimming this?
He's entered in it.
I don't
Is he
see
swimming
him in
it?
the spreadsheets.
We can't.
I
He's
really want
25th
him to
seed.
swim it. It'll be really
He's
funny.
entered it at
Oh,
201.
25th. Okay.
You all are fools. Chase Kalish is obviously getting second. I don't care what Maximus Williamson is on. Chase Kalish is a seasoned veteran who has had a sensational season, and he's going to go out on top. Well, I mean, he might not retire after the season. Who knows? I'm sorry for even bringing that up. There's no basis for that. But he's going to get second. That's what I think. But Carson Foster, Chase Kalish, maybe not even in that order. Chase Kalish might win, but I don't think so. All right. Men's 100 fly. Oh, this is going to be good. Daria Rose is top seed at 50.4. Then we've got Shane Casas, 50.8. Dressel, 50.8. Heilman, 51.1. How many guys under 52? 11 guys under 52 seconds on the psych sheet.
I think this is Caleb Dressel's strongest event. I think we're going to see like his most impressive time here. I think he goes like 50.1 or 50 flat. I think he wins and Daria Rose gets second.
Yeah, I got Dressel has always been so good in the 100 fly, even when he's having a bad year. I mean, last year at Nationals, he was still in the A final in the 100 fly. And in 2018, when he was having some lackluster results after some injury and time out of the water, he was still swimming really fast 100 flies. And he's sated third with an in-season swim from a swimmer who is notoriously pretty slow in season. I think Dressel's going to be fast. I think he's winning it. And I think Daria Rose was one of some of my favorite performances was like Daria Rose's relay leg in Fukuoka was pretty good. Okay, if we don't have Dressel, we're good. And I think that he's going to continue that momentum and have I think it's going to be Dressel and Rose pretty clear of the rest of the field relative to the overall depth in the event. I think it's going to be kind of surprising how far ahead they are. I think they're going to be a solid 1-2.
I'm going Rose, then Dressel. Ooh. But I'm picking same picks as you guys. I think it's going to be Daria. I think it's going to be Caleb. Oh,
what do you think Daria goes to beat Caleb? What do you think that they're going to go?
50.3. And I think Caleb goes 50.5.
You think Caleb drops 0.3 off of his San Antonio swim?
Yeah. I think he'll be better in Paris. But I think I don't think he's going to be sensational at trials. I think he's going to be good, but I don't think he's going to be sensational. But who knows? What do I know?
Have you considered dad strength?
Have you considered that he's a dad now, and that might be detrimental? It was to Michael Phelps compared to like where he was the summer prior. Anyway, we need to move on. Women's 200 IM.
Alex Walsh, Kate Douglas. Well, I think Kate Douglas wins and Alex Walsh gets second, and they both drop like ridiculous times.
Yeah, I mean, they both just went 207s at NCAP. That's fast. They're going to go faster. They're right. It's kind of how we touched on this briefly in our mini breakdown about the Aussie women in the 2 free, how when you both are training next to each other, you know, in this case, 200 IM pace day and, you know, focus work like that, that's got to be crazy with them. And I think that they're just going to be just lighting up and I think it's Douglas and Walsh.
David, the crazy part is I don't think Kate and Alex train together like ever, because I think Kate trains with Todd and I think Alex trained with Blair before she went to A&M, but I could be wrong, but I don't think they train together. If they do, it's not very often.
Well, I need to watch more practice and pancakes.
Yeah, I think it's Kate and Alex. I hate betting against Tori Husk. I think she's going to have a great meet. I think she's winning the 100 fly. I think she qualifies individually in the 100 free. Honestly, I hope she swims the 50 free instead of the 200 IM, so I don't have to bet against her in this. But I am going to pick Kate and Alex either way. Next up, women's 800 freestyle. This is a little bit of a hard one behind Katie Ledecky. Jillian Cox is your top seed. Then it's Claire Weinstein. Then it's Katie Grimes. I'm going to pick Katie Grimes. She qualified for the Olympics in this event last season. She's qualified. Oh, I don't know if she has qualified for it at Worlds, but I mean,
No, she hasn't been. She's been kind of underwhelming in this event at previous trials.
I think she'll have a better 800 than she has had at previous trials, and I think she gets second in this.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
I actually have obviously Ledecky number 1, and then I am, after I was kind of looking at Weinstein in the 400 free, I'm feeling pretty good on her, and I have her getting the second spot over Grimes, just because for that same kind of, I feel like that's gonna, if you're kind of working up to that 400, improving that, I feel like we could be seeing some improvements follow through with that 800 as well.
So you have Claire Weinstein having a very good meet, David.
Yes, I felt very good on Weinstein just after. I think it's probably because one of the first picks I did was the 400 free, and I was like, clearly she's going to be on fire.
Clearly. Okay.
I'm scared of Ross Caps.
We are down to our last two events at the U.S. trials. Women's 50 free. Man, this is a hard one. So Kate Douglas is entered in it.
I don't
doubtful she's swimming it.
Yeah.
Tori Husk also entered in it. I think there's a solid chance she doesn't swim it in favor of the 200 IM. And then you have Abby Weitzel, Gretchen Walsh, and Simone Manuel. I think those are the clear favorites. Maybe you have someone else, but oh God. It's hard for me to say this, but I'm going Gretchen Walsh and Abby Weitzel, and I think Simone just misses out.
It's pretty hard to argue with those picks.
But I will argue, and I'm going to say that it's Gretchen Walsh and then Simone Manuel. But I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be kind of, it's going to be a touch. It's going to come down to the touch, and I think that Simone's going to have the tiniest of advantages to get that second spot.
Yeah, it's going to be a great race to end the meet on the women's side. Men's mile, I think Bobby Fink is a safe number 1. David, we'll start with you. Who do you have for number 2?
I have Charlie Clark, just because it sometimes feels like the annoyingly obvious pick with, just looking at the seed times, right? How he's pretty clear ahead of the rest of the field with the seed times. But looking at, I feel like that's a safe pick. I think Fink is going to be well ahead of the field here, and I think it'll be a pretty epic race for second. I enjoy a good distance battle. I like watching when there's multiple people who are all in, kind of like paying attention to the splits flat and how far behind they are on the graphics. You go, oh wait, he's starting to outsplit that guy. I'm having the time of my life right there. Watching me watch a distance race is probably I probably look very frantic because I'm trying to keep track of too many swimmers at once, but I enjoy it.
All right,
yeah,
Yin.
I think that's a fair pick. Charlie Clark has the experience. He's a lot faster than a lot of people in the field. It's hard to argue against him.
I like Charlie Clark as well. Yeah, I mean, his seed time's 9 seconds ahead of Michael Brinegar, who's at number 3. I think he is also looking to make his first big, world champs or Olympic team, certainly Olympic team. And so, I think Charlie Clark will have a chip on his shoulder.
He's been at the last 2 world champs. He's just never made an Olympic team.
Oof. Okay. Well, looking for that first Olympic berth. So that is your complete 2024 U.S. Olympic Trials preview. Thanks for listening to the end if you made it this far, and we will see you in Indianapolis.